Hi, good afternoon, folks. It's Martin here from Tracker HQ. Today we're going to talk about your project, your way. This is session 3 of the webinar series. And with the best will in the world, every project has some slight tweaks and peculiarities that they want to see in their software. We have got a standard suite, but we have got some flexibility. And today, Drew and Clint are going to talk about that flexibility in terms of the ITRs, that's the inspection and test reports that input into the system, and also the reports that come out of the system, and the flexibility of the software that we've got here in TrackerCheck. So without any further ado, over to you, Clint and Andrew.
All right, appreciate that, Martin. I'll go ahead and share my screen. All right, so currently we're looking at the dashboard for TrackerCheck. What we're going to be discussing right now is the reports and the customization. So out of the box, Tracker comes with well over 20 reports that range from different styles like Telerik driven, which are your data reports, just live data, typically used at Friday reporting, that type of deal. And then you've got Power BI, which are way more interactive and you can drill down to your data set. So even with these 20 some odd reports that come with Tracker, we understand every project's different. Even cookie cutter projects where you go from one to the other that are identical in build, they still have their own nuances. You get different people, different project managers. So they're all going to want to see different style reports, and we understand that. So this is a good starting point for you. This will get you going. It'll let you look at something, pull data, and then decide based off of your project needs, the priorities, what reports you're going to be using and what you actually want to tweak. So, and we understand that. So what we do is we give these reports to you out of the box. Your project's good to go, good to start. Then as you start progressing through the project, you give us feedback. Say you like the MOC detail report, or you like the skyline report down here. We'll pull up the skyline. Say you like this, but you want it a little bit different, or you want to report on a different style item. Skyline's designed to report on certificates, but we can modify this to meet the project needs. Big picture, we're not telling you how to report and drive your project. We give you tools to do that, but we want to work with you and make this fit for purpose. So it's tailored for you, so you can drive the project the way you need to drive it, rather than us dictating how you're going to do your project. So as you can see, you got plenty of reports to start with. They can be tailored, modified a little bit to meet your project needs. And that's fully expected with every project, especially our enterprise clients. Next up, we're going to be talking about the customization of the ITRs in that service. And for that, I'm going to turn over to Clint.
A main part of your project, and to verify that the project is being completed, is the sign off of the ITRs. With TrackerCheck, we have what comes with the package is over 500 templates for ITRs. Now, if your project, you can choose which ITRs you would like to use and use the ones that are acceptable to your project. Nobody likes to go out in the field and have a lot of NAs on their ITRs. So if you have a check sheet that fits 80%, 90% of what you're looking for, but there's just a couple tweaks that you'll need to customize to your project, so you're not filling out a lot of NAs or just information that's not pertinent to your project, we can tailor make those ITRs to suit your project needs a lot better. Also, if you have your own set of ITRs for your project that's specific for your project, we can incorporate those into TrackerCheck, and your project will be able to utilize the ITRs that you're familiar with and what's going to work for your project to help it drive your project to completions a lot better and a lot more efficiently. And back to you, Andrew.
Appreciate that, Clint. One thing we always get asked when we're talking about customizing reports or customizing ITRs is what's that cost? So obviously, if you're going to replace 500 ITRs with your own ITRs, there is some cost associated with that, but minor tweaks here and there over the course of a project. We don't like to nickel and dime projects for items like that. We just take care of them. So what we'd like to talk about now, the actual reporting themselves. What are you getting? How do we drive the project? What are we going to be looking at for that? So I'm still on the reports page here, and I'm going to start off with one of my favorite ones that I've already pulled up before, with the Skyline report. So Skyline report's a really great visual report. What it's doing is pulling in the certificates for the project and using their start-stop dates to build this skyline. Down here in the bottom section, you're getting a summary for each column. You get a visual indication for this block, and in this particular instance, we're looking at an MCC, mechanical completion cert, and those are at the subsystem level. So we're looking at subsystem turnovers. So we have a count of 1 in this column, 2 here, 1 here, 1 here, and then those are accumulating across the bottom. You also get a color indication of what the status is, and you can see that in the legend down here where green's completed, red's late, orange you've turned over, but it's got open ITR still, and then you've got coming due in the next 2 weeks, and then everything past the 2 weeks just shows us wide and on track. Obviously, what we're looking at here is a project that's not doing great. So a lot of late subsystems, a lot of issues here. But what I like to point out with this report is on 28 March, we have so many turnovers that it actually overflowed to the next column and starts stacking up there. Same with 25 April. So without going and looking at the schedule or knowing much about the project, unless you have a lot of people, a lot of turnover coordinators, you're going to have a rough week here on 28 March and also 25 April. So this report allows you to get a quick understanding of where you're at. Right now, we know we're behind. We know we have some tough weeks coming up. So we might want to flatten these out, maybe spread them out over the week before, the week after, if possible. But at least let you know what you have coming up and you can plan for that. So this is one of my favorite reports. When you combine this with our detail ITR report and the burn down report, you get a really good idea of what's going on. So we'll take a look at the burn down report next, which is another Power BI report. We'll shift over to the MCC. So for this MCC, again, we're looking at subsystems, we're looking at turnover dates, but now we're really focusing on the actual work, the ITRs. So we're getting a breakdown of the ITRs per subsystem laid out over time based off of their turnover dates. Using those turnover dates, we come up with a planned curve, which is your blue curve. That's what you're going to want to follow. So you either want to be right on that curve or below it. If you're above it, then things aren't going well. And as we saw earlier, we know things aren't going well because the Skyline report told on us. So above the line, and we're actually showing no ITR progress for this project. The Skyline gave you a high level, said things are bad, but the burn down curve shows you what you're doing with your ITRs. And right now they're not moving, they're flatlined. What I really like about this report is not only does it show you a point in time, but it also gives you what I refer to as the attack angle. What's the progress rate? And that's really important. So you could still be above the line, but you could be trending down and trending down at a good angle that it looks like you're going to catch up. So it's a good indicator of how your project's progressing and the angle of attack and how aggressively you're getting the ITRs done. That's really important for project management and the leads to, yeah, you're behind, but you are catching up and catching up at a good clip. This one, we're not catching up at all. So just looking at these two reports, knowing absolutely nothing else about the project, we know the state of it, it's behind. We know the ITRs aren't getting progressed. And we know who to start talking to about that. So really great reports. And those are just two of the many. Those are both Power BI reports. Let's take a look at a Telerik report, and we'll use the detail ITR system subsystem for that. And again, Telerik reports, Telerik is a report engine, it's a style, and it's going to grab live data and just present it on the screen. So as you complete an ITR, if you rerun the report, you're going to see that ITR ticked off immediately. So it's real-time reporting. This report here, all Telerik reports are going to come with this basic design where you have some information across the top, where you can get a record count, you can export to PDF, export to Excel. You can also turn on filters. So when you turn on filters, you're able to pass some filters into this report, drill down on the data a little bit more, and then run the report and kick it out as a PDF or an Excel spreadsheet. But for this detail ITR, we're looking at a subsystem. We're getting a total, a snapshot of the ITR. So you got total 29 here, 24 issued and 5 are completed. Breaks it down by discipline. So you know exactly which lead to go talk to if the percent completes aren't looking like the way they should. And then if you go down a little further, you're getting the exact details of who completed, when they completed it, are there attachments, etc. It lives up to the name. It's a detail ITR report. We're not going to go through all 20 SMOD reports, but you get the picture of, with the Power BI report skyline, looking at the burn down curve and then combining it with a few of these more detailed item reports. Your reporting needs are met out of the box. And that's really important getting started with the project. You're not having to come up the reports yourself. Nobody enjoys starting with a blank piece of paper and trying to fill it out. So even if these reports need to be modified for you, you have something to look at and make modifications and say, we like the disciplines here, but we don't want to show the totals or whatever it may be. Or we like the data down here, but we need it one extra column. It's real easy to do that and make modifications, send it over to us. But we don't make you start with a blank slate of paper. You tell us what the reporting is. All right. Clint, anything you want to add to that?
I did want to say with the Power BI reports, they are an hourly report. But however, we did add a feature that you can refresh that Power BI report. So if you need to have some up-to-date information before you walk into that toolbox meeting, you'll have that data that's instantaneous to that point.
Yeah, appreciate that, Glenn. That's a really important distinction between the Telerik. They're live data. They pull up to the second data and put it on the reports. Power BIs, they run, like Clint said, every hour, and you can see the last refresh date. We do understand that sometimes you need these reports and dashboards. It's not going to perfectly sync up with your day, so you're able to hit the refresh button up here on almost every Power BI report. And like Clint said, it's going to sync up the data, update your report, and then you're good to go. So, all right. That's it for reporting and customization of ITRs and report. Really hope that was helpful.
There you have it, folks. Your project, your way. You can have the ITRs that you want and also the reporting structure. Very important. The daily, the weekly, the monthly reports, how you want to see them, how the project management wants to see them on the project. Thank you for joining us, and be sure to join us next week for the final session in this series. Bye for now.